Today we're going to talk about some childhood memories and put together a really interesting puzzle from the late 1940s. So grab your cozy cup. Welcome to Janky Puzzles. Welcome back, all you love seekers and truth speakers. This is Janky Puzzles, a home for all those broken and discarded and unwanted puzzles you see at thrift stores and yard sales and in the waiting room of your grandparents' nursing home. Today's going to be an interesting episode. A little bit more sentimental, a little bit more reflective, if you will. And as you can see, generally I talk a little bit about the puzzle first, and then I show it off in a grand display in like a nice grand display. You know what I'm saying. But today's is a little bit different. This was a fun one, and this one was wild. This puzzle, as you could see right away, it's missing pieces. It's missing about 8 or 9 pieces. This one is from I believe it's from the late 40s, early 50s. It's kind of hard to pin down right when this came out because the box doesn't have the date on it, because back then they didn't always put the dates on them. And there's a lot of uniqueness to this puzzle. So this is the box that it came in. As you can see, it's the Fine Arts Picture Puzzle, Neighbors. Now, right off the bat, you're going to notice why this puzzle took me so long to do, because it did. It took me quite a long time to put together. And I think you could see right away why. For one, the colors are all over the place. This is not green right here. This is a deep maroon, not like a peach color like it is here on the box. This tree does not exist on this box except for a little bit of branches right there. As I was putting this together, there were several times where I thought, I don't know if this puzzle is what belongs in this box. That's not unheard of. And once I realized too that I was missing a couple edge pieces, that's always kind of interesting too, because you don't know, especially if you start with the edges, it's hard to tell right away how big the puzzle is. You kind of have to work your way into it. Now the display for this is really interesting because it's so old. You'll see on here on the box it says 500 interlocking pieces. Nope. These pieces, I'm going to have some really good close-ups of these. These are the types of puzzles. I've did some before where they don't really interlock with each other. They just sort of sit next to each other. They don't clip together at all. The interesting about it is that the edge and about 3 pieces in, they interlock. They are the typical puzzle shape that you see for about three levels in. And the rest are all just these weird square pieces with curvy ends that just kind of sit next to each other. So I didn't know how I was going to display that, because right now it's only being held together with love and good intentions. But so what I had to do was, I actually got this is a fleece blanket I found at the store. I paid $3 for it. So I cut it to fit this foam board I had. And it's grippy, so it kind of holds the puzzle, which I thought was really interesting. Now, the subject of this puzzle I really, really enjoy. I cannot find the artist of this puzzle, Neighbors. However, this same image is used on another brand, which is a guild puzzle, which I have a guild puzzle, but not that picture. so to like I said, to lock down the artist was really hard. Interestingly enough, though, I found another picture, which is this exact same picture, same layout, everything, except it's like more in focus. Like it was completely repainted by somebody else. Like this is like PlayStation 2 graphics. This other one would be like PlayStation 5 graphics. It's really interesting. But the image itself, I really enjoy for lots of reasons. For one, ocean scenes and things like that, coastal scenes, I really enjoy. But this is just very quaint. Two houses overlooking a little marina, and then you have these two fellows right here standing in front of their houses, just talking, just enjoying themselves. And it's fun to think about what they were thinking or talking about. An image like this, you get to fill in the blanks yourself, and I really enjoy that. Are they fighting? Are they spinning a yarn with each other? Who knows? But it's really, really nice. For some reason, this fellow in the red shirt, I just keep thinking of Smokey from the Bandit, from Smokey and the Bandit. I don't know why. But I like this picture, as different as it is from the box, and how misrepresentation the picture is as far as the dimensions and aspect ratio. Now, why neighbors? Why the concept of neighbors? To me, growing up, we lived in where we lived at was like we lived next to a main road on a corner, and across the main road was just fields as far as the eye can see. Not to use a dated phrase, but yeah, it was fields. And there was a house right across the street from us on our side of the main road. Then there were other houses down the street. Now, where we lived, there wasn't a lot of kids around. So there wasn't a lot of kids of like me and my brothers' age to grow up with. We lived about a mile from school. And in our neighborhood, all the kids that went to that elementary school lived close by. So there wasn't a lot of kids around where we lived. But we got to know a lot of our neighbors because we were like in this little island. We knew then that our next door neighbor, he was a really cool guy. He was kind of a hoarder. His house was just filled to the brim with stuff, but he was a really cool guy. And then some neighbors farther down the street, they were really good friends of ours. In fact, I have a distant cousin that married. I have a cousin that married into that family. And then so now our family and their family have this one connection of a daughter that they share. So that's kind of cool. But the neighbors that lived right across the street from us, they were really cool people. The lady had a daycare in their basement. And we went there for a little bit, me and my brothers. And we were just really good friends with them. And they had children that were older. They were like, when I was a little kid, they were in college. So they were way older. So it was an older couple. But they were really cool. But, time goes on. Time progresses. And we moved out of that house, 20, 25 years ago. But from what I could tell, those neighbors stayed. Now, a few months ago, me and Mrs. Janky and Janky Jr., we were driving across town we were going to a friend's house that happens to be right past the house that I grew up in. And it was kind of cool to see what these new people that bought this house has done to it. That's always kind of cool to see what happened to the houses that you were raised in, or buildings, or locations that you fondly remember, to see how they've changed over the years. And the people that moved into our house, it's all different. It's almost unrecognizable. But the neighbor that we were really close to, in fact, I'm just going to go ahead and say their names, Gene and Harold. I noticed as we were driving by that they were having a yard sale. And, oh, that's cool. Let's go see Gene and Harold. And when we pulled up there, they had a lot of stuff out in their yard. And I noticed there was the guy sitting there doing the sell, I noticed was one of their children, you know, the ones who were really older than us. And I got to realize where I was at. I was not at a yard sale. I was at an estate sale. As people do, Gene and Harold had passed away. Harold died. It was recent that Harold had passed away, the husband. And talking to the son, Gene had passed away about 2 years earlier. So they passed. That's life. That's what happens. And I never got a chance to tell them that growing up, they meant a lot to me. They, I spent a lot of time there. My elementary school had a grandparents' day, and my grandparents live in another part of the country. And so Gene and Harold's, Gene's parents came to my grandparents' day at the elementary school. And that was always endearing. And I really enjoyed that. I have fond memories of watching Harold out our front window mow his front yard. He had a nice big yard with a riding lawnmower. And yeah, majority of my childhood, I can remember him riding his riding lawnmower, mowing the grass. So that was kind of it wasn't a gut punch because, as you get older, you expect that. But it was really interesting to know that, yeah, Gene and Harold have passed away. So when we were at this estate sale, and I was looking around, and it's kind of odd when you see things like that, because I can remember as a kid, these items that were on these tables, I remember them distinctly inside their house. Because like I said, we spent a lot of time there. They babysat us. And even as we got older, we still visited with them. But then something caught my eye. And I don't know if this is morbid or odd, but I saw something that was really personal. And I really wanted to, I don't know. It was something that I wanted to hold on to. As weird as this is, I bought this. This is Mr. Harold's bowling ball. As I was looking at their stuff, I realized that most of that stuff was stuff. They fill these thrift stores. This is where my Janky Puzzles come. And again, this is about as janky as they come. But this was something that I didn't feel needed to be just sent to a thrift store or sold. For one, it's his handwriting on the tag that he filled out to identify his bowling ball. And the cool thing about this, for one, it fits my hand, and it's got his initials on there. Harold's initials. I don't know if that was weird, but I just felt like this is such a personal item. Not only that, it's not the only thing. I have my dad's bowling ball too. And if you know, in previous episode, we talked about that my dad passed away when I was younger, and I still have his bowling ball. Well, now I have Harold's bowling ball. And if the world of the Pixar movie Coco is real, then if you're remembered, and if you're remembered fondly, that's like the best legacy you can leave. And I think just holding on to this guy's bowling ball and actually using it, they're going to live on. They're going to live on for a while. And it's a real testament to those relationships and those bonds you make with your neighbors, with the people you live in your community, with those family members, those chosen family members. Where we live now, we have some really nice neighbors next door that we are very fond of. And I think that there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of big question marks right now, especially here in the United States. And this, I think, really illustrates something that's really important and something that I don't want to lose, and I hope we don't lose. It's part of our identity. As neighbors, helping each other, being there for each other, leaving lasting memories with each other. So, neighbors from the late 40s, early 50s. The box has the number 49 and it's underlined. Somebody wrote on it at some point, so maybe it's 1949. I'm not sure, but it's still a beautiful puzzle for as beat up and janky as it is. And the memories are beautiful, as old and faded as they are. Neighbors. So thank you so much for checking out Janky Puzzles today. I certainly enjoyed this one. If you find an old puzzle like this, I highly recommend putting it together. They are a lot of fun. The new puzzles you get at the store are a lot of fun, but to get your hands on a really old, way out of date, beat up old puzzle, it's an experience, and I highly recommend it. So, do good things and be good people. Do stuff underneath. Hit the like, hit the bells, all those wonderful things. It won't cost you anything, and it really helps the YouTube algorithm. If enough people like what we're doing here, they'll promote it, and we can get our message of appreciating old broken things and some wholesomeness and some good feelings. Kind of sends out that message, and that's what we're here for. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back here soon with a really fun puzzle. We're going to solve a mystery, and I can't wait to show that one off. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching.